All right. Perfect. Great test. Nailed it.
Are we there?
I had I pressed record? Oh, that's a mystery. Oh,
Do
man.
you want to switch sheets?
No, I want more.
Do you want to
falling
switch
on me.
sheets? I don't know.
I
don't
want
know
them
if
on me.
You
You
really
wanna-
do
you
need
want-
to get
I
you
want
should
them
get
to
that
fall
checked
into my
out.
mouth. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
then that doesn't make any sense.
So, how do we do this? No, you do with the intros, right? That's how your show works. Welcome to.
So this is where they're going to play the theme for Renegade, and then we'll cut back.
He was a cop and good at his job, but he committed the ultimate sin and testified against other cops gone bad. Cops that tried to kill him, but got the woman he loved instead. Framed for murder, now he prowls the Badlands, an outlaw hunting outlaws, a bounty hunter, a renegade.
Finally, a place for the theme for Renegade.
Hey, welcome to Bottle Episodes. I'm Daniel.
I'm David.
We have a guest you'll never guess.
You'll never guessed. Hi, I'm Brian Boss.
Again.
Back
Unless we put this one before the other one he was on.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Or we
We
can
don't know
it
what
and get rid of it.
order
Or
these are going
I
in.
probably will not put these out of order.
I think you should.
I mean, the important thing to remember is that we're holding a gun to all of our guests' head after the first episode.
Yeah.
this is actually one of 4 that I've recorded.
Well, we invite them for the first one, and they think it's going to be fun. And then for the second episode, we were like, no chance.
This one was more fun. I enjoyed watching Renegade
The
so
other
much
one
more.
we kind of put you in work mode.
Yeah, not even work mode. Just maybe a little bit. Tapped
you
into the
got
brain where I was like,
you
yeah,
got
you're right.
very specific.
Yeah, well, I took notes. I'm telling you, I had nothing else going on.
No
so
notes
the-
on Renegade, though.
no
Perfect
notes.
show.
You have the
zero notes. I have 0 notes.
You have the cardinal sin of not doing comedy for long enough that you over prepare. That's the cardinal sin of comedy. Speaking of cardinal sins, let's talk about Renegade for a second. Daniel, you want to do the intro of Renegade? Talk about.
No. No, I'll do the intro for Renegade. Renegade is the show your dad loves instead of you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
It's a show exclusively for people that stand up and go, "Welp." It's about a motorcycle guy that goes around bounty hunting, but he's also wanted for murder because he's been framed for the murder of his girlfriend or wife. I don't really know or care.
Valerie.
Valerie.
I think it was his wife.
Well, I didn't care. It wasn't her name. I was just like, I don't care if she's a girlfriend or wife.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
They have one shot that exists of her coming out of the ocean, and they keep cutting back to that shot.
And then they doubled it over with him carrying her lifeless body. I think it's eloquent.
It's really,
It's really great filmmaking.
So you guys know the basic plot of Renegade. They spoil it in the first 30 seconds because the show was literally built to just be built. It was built in a bubble to be put in syndication.
Yeah, like Baywatch.
No, not quite though.
No, but Baywatch was made for a network, but at this point was making huge money in syndication, and this was almost certainly trying to get that same thing that Baywatch was doing.
Yes, it was definitely the
because every woman in this show has a lot of cleavage.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually
And
never
all
put all of that
all the
fully
men are
together while we were
manly
talking
men
about
that
it.
ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motorcycles, horses. It's all like tough guy.
And also, Lamas apparently was coming off of another show that hit 228 episodes or something like that. So he was already in syndication.
Yeah.
So he
So
was already like a
he
known
understood,
syndicate.
He understood the model,
Yeah.
the business model, and he was like, "I'm trying to be a cool action star again."
Oh
It's
yeah.
like,
Lorenzo Lamas understands models. Oh yeah, that guy gets it.
it's crazy. I've never watched a guy who definitely fucks, but also just has no idea like what female anatomy is in any real concept. He's like, the way of the sword has not prepared me for this.
I feel like if Steven Seagal did not exist,
He's a
our
better
man would have
actor than
been.
Seagal.
Yeah, for sure. But he's prettier. He's absolutely just prettier. He's in better shape.
He's prettier in a weird way because he also looks exactly like James Roday from
I know.
Psych.
I can't get over it.
He looks
I literally-
exactly like James Roday.
I did some Googling and no results as far as just putting
Really?
their names together. Whereas like I couldn't find anything.
Because that's the weird thing. So this was in syndication for like the
Okay,
first
hold on,
5
hold on.
seasons.
Say who James Roday actually, because
From
that's
Psych.
He was also
the main guy.
He was
Yeah.
also the bad guy in
Dukes of Hazzard.
In Dukes
Oh,
of Hazzard,
you
the
guys
Johnny
are-
Knoxville thing.
You guys are so raw. It's definitely Sebastian Stan over.
It's a combination of the two.
It's I don't even know if it's. I think it's more. I think
yeah.
I think he looks a lot like Sebastian Stan, which
I think way
feel
more like Sebastian Stan. I think
Stan
you're
should
just,
be thanking his lucky stars that he looks a little bit like Lamas and can act better.
You don't. Here's the thing: is you just haven't watched anything. Like you're not watching the Marvel movies.
I have watched some. I just don't enjoy them.
I don't either. What else is Stan in? Is he in other stuff that I would know?
I like I,
Oh,
Tonya.
I Tanya's good.
Tanya.
Okay, yeah.
But also, what's
3 boys talking about their love of I, Tonya. It's that kind of podcast.
But also, here's what I was gonna say: in the Marvel movies, he has all the long hair, and that's where it looks the most similar.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he looks. It's uncanny how much he looks like Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, he looks like James
looks
Roday
like-
as well.
looks like James
And on
Roday.
the 6th season of Renegade was not in syndication. It was on USA.
I had
Which
like
tells me that they took a DNA sample from
that must be, they
Lamas.
cloned him.
And they
in
made
order-
him the
yeah.
lead in
The
Psych.
USA actually they don't make any money producing shows.
Yeah,
They
they
only make it through like clonery.
cloning the Lam- It took them 11 years to get a funny Lorenzo Lamas clone. And when it did, they were like, well.
It's really weird when you look into Dolly the sheep and then you kind of look to the contributors and USA
Yeah.
Network is there.
There's a lot of Marvel movies. Kevin Feige.
How many Marvel movies have you like? Because I've only seen a handful at this point.
I definitely saw the majority of them leading up to the Avengers.
Okay.
I saw the Avengers, and at that point I was like, well, this is the culmination, and I don't really care.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of bail
Oh.
out. I have seen past that. I saw Taika Waititi's first Thor
Yeah, because we
movie.
like Taika Waititi.
I like
That
Taika
makes sense.
Waititi.
Yep. Yep.
I saw the second Avengers because it was the third film on a bill at a drive-in.
Okay, that also
And I
makes
actually
sense,
left midway through. That's a fun story. So the first film on the bill was Barbershop, The Next Chapter.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the middle film was Green Room.
Oh, so
And
absolutely in
a lot-
how is that? How
a
is
lot
there a
of
line?
people left during Green
How
Room.
is that the line?
Like as soon as the first hyperviolence starts in Green Room, just so many cars turn on.
Green Room is
Bail.
a punk rock movie about getting trapped in a Nazi bar
Ugh.
and shit gets
And the Nazis try to
fucked.
kill you. It's
That-
very viscerally violent.
Left me in like silence for a couple hours afterwards. Like
Some of
I
the
just
best-
had to collect myself.
Yeah.
Great. I mean,
Some of the
fucking
best
fierce,
Patrick
but-
Stewart stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then the last film at like 1 a.m. was Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Finally, a 2.5 hour movie for
I
the 1
saw that
a.m.
one. That
Yeah.
one wasn't good. I saw the first of the 2-parter,
I saw.
and I wouldn't.
You didn't
watch
see the second?
because I don't need to.
And I think I
don't
saw.
know, man.
I
Fair.
saw
Yeah.
whatever.
They do win.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh, they
spoil
win?
It.
Oh,
They
it turns
spoil
out,
it.
yeah.
There's time travel. They win.
Okay.
And then I saw whatever ones came out when MoviePass was a big thing.
Yeah,
Because I've seen every movie.
you're right. I was doing the exact
So
same
I would have
thing.
seen like Black Panther
Yeah.
and Spider-Man.
I've seen
I didn't
all of
care.
Oh,
them.
actually, I watched Into the Spider-Verse, but I haven't seen the second one yet.
Into the Spider-Verse is not Marvel Cinematic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Oh my god,
different.
guys, we have to get back on.
Okay,
to
you're right.
Renegade.
Yeah, you're right. Let's stop talking about that thing that people like and let's talk about this thing no one cares about.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get the ratings up.
that's
Where I
you
talk about
think
why I
finally,
don't like the thing that people like.
Finally, Marvel movies, the thing no one's talking about on podcasts.
You're right.
Yeah. I mean,
What about Star Wars? No, okay.
Yeah.
we don't,
Never
we
heard
don't
of
need
it.
to. You guys like Disney or?
Okay, so
You like Disney
Renegade.
fans? Yes.
Do you like any small
He's a
scale
cop
character
and
dramas?
he's bad at his job. He's good at his job. That is, by the
He's
way,
actually he seems very good.
that's the most uncle writing I've ever he's a cop and he was good at his job.
He was the best at his job or whatever.
No, it was good.
It was just good at his job? Okay.
He was good at his job.
Okay.
And then he committed the cardinal sin. Which also is a thing that dominated police based media for up until the last 5 years.
Serpico's a good movie.
Yes.
And then they just didn't realize why it was a good movie.
There are times when IED comes, or IAD, Internal Affairs, IAD comes into play, but and it's the right thing, but a lot of times it's always played as the villain. It's always just every guy is just oh no, the bad guys who are trying to stop cops from doing their job.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
You're you mean the guys who are stopping cops from beating you? That's the bad guys in a lot of these, including this one. He reported on cops for trying to hire him as an assassin.
Oh, yeah. No.
That is the entire plot line, is now he was too badass at that he reported on a cop by mistake, and then they killed his girlfriend because of it.
He committed the cardinal sin of never turning off his body cam.
They give the whole spiel in the intro of the first episode.
Yeah.
Which then spoils what happens in that
For sure,
episode.
just in that first episode, but they continue to use that as the same intro for every episode,
But
right?
you can just have that cut out in the first
No,
episode.
they can't. They can't. It's all syndicated.
You
That's
save
the
a little
thing.
bit of money on Don LaFontaine, who does the spiel at the start.
He's the movie guy, right?
Yeah.
He was the
In a
Yeah.
World.
In a World.
Yeah.
In a world.
In a world.
His daughter does stuff now.
Good for her.
What world does she do stuff?
Also,
In a world where your daughter gets a job based on who you are.
when did that stop?
Nepo
the
baby.
VO of for movie trailers that stopped in
Mid-2000s.
mid 2000s, where it just stopped becoming any kind of descriptor, and now they're just flashing and moving forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would have been the film that really changed everything. It was definitely before Inception, but Inception ushered in a lot of bois sounds.
Oh,
and
the bois
action
sounds.
films.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that same year,
I love that we just found a thing that was deeper than In a World.
Yeah.
We were In a World.
Yeah.
To make it deeper.
that same year though, the Social Networks trailer was also very influential with the somber
Trent
cover
Reznor.
the somber cover of the pop song.
Oh.
They did "Creep" by Radiohead, and then everybody's been doing.
Oh
that
yeah,
since.
okay, yeah, that
But
makes
there
sense.
were a
Yeah.
few years in between the end of Don LaFontaine's run,
Yeah.
and those two big trends being introduced.
Have you guys haven't seen the it was a gritty reboot of the Avengers trailer with Smooth.
Oh no.
It's great.
Okay.
It's a hot one.
I'm a big Smooth fan. I will sing Rob Thomas in the kitchen all the time, mostly as a point of dominance.
As any Rob Thomas or just Smooth?
I like a little MB20. I like 2 a.m. I like Push.
Well, it's 3 a.m.
It's 3 a.m.
I must be lonely.
Yep.
Not lonely enough.
You're never alone when you're watching Renegade.
Okay.
You are always alone when you're watching Renegade.
No, you've got your divorce papers with you.
You draw a
you've
face on them.
You've got an unanswered call from your adult children. They're not picking up.
The demographic is cool uncles. I
No,
think
it's uncles that think they're cool.
I'm sorry, drunkles.
Yes, there you
it's
go.
drunk uncles.
It's uncles who don't realize how close to death that they are.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of what we saw within that first episode and then the next episode we saw was literally like the same. It was just the same.
The second episode was more fun.
It was a little more fun, but it was like, okay, you get a big kind of brolic dude who walks around and intimidates people. And maybe there was a little more depth to it, kind of. But
In the first episode, the big brawler guy is played by Donald Gibb, the worst of the Bee Gees.
Wait, really?
No, all the guys in the Bee Gees, their last name was Gibb.
Oh.
This guy's not in the Bee Gees.
Thank God someone's here to explain jokes.
he was the Gib that didn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
The Gib they couldn't kill.
The Gib they couldn't get.
The
gibbed.
immortal Gibb.
He was a gib and good at his gib.
But you're saying he was in like Three Ninjas or
Yeah.
he was like very much a 90s
Well,
just a
staple.
big guy.
Let's get into the characters.
Okay.
That because the plot that's the first episode. The first episode is basically that.
I mean, that's the
and then-
intro. It's
Yeah.
literally you got it.
That's
done.
the first 20 minutes of the
Yeah.
show. But let's get into these characters. So we got Lorenzo Lamas as.
Reno Reigns.
Oh my God! It's the fucking.
sick name.
It's a name an uncle comes up with.
And he's a tough
It's a
guy.
name that they scribble on the restraining order they just received in the mail.
So he's like an illegal bounty hunter.
No, the bounties he's hunting are legal. He's just on the run from the law.
Yeah.
And he
So he
works
has-
with a real bounty hunter who pays him by check for some reason because that's absolutely untraceable.
Hey, we noticed you're cashing checks by.
Something 6 killer. He's
Yeah.
Oh yes, well he was 4 killer apparently in the first couple episodes.
killed
then
2 more men.
and then he becomes 6 killer.
Wow.
So that actor, according to online, there is dispute if he's actually Native American. A lot of people think he might be Pacific Islander and just pretending to be Native American.
Which is a funny move to do almost. It's just like, well, I
He's a
guess
working
it's-
actor. He's got to get roles.
Honestly, yeah, that's really the thing is
What's his
that
name?
is Branscombe Richmond.
Branscombe Richmond.
which is a name for someone playing Sherlock Holmes.
Also know how like low, or I don't even know how to break this down, but number 3 on your call sheet is Don LaFontaine. And he's not physically in a single episode.
He's only doing
Well, he's
the
in
intro
every
time.
episode though. He's in every episode.
Yeah.
You're right. And then Kathleen Kinmont, who apparently was married, right?
Married to Lorenzo Lamas. Now, within the show, she's just a white lady, but she plays the sister of the Native American character. But then in the middle, they explain that, no, they're step siblings. But the thing is, she's married to Lorenzo Lamas, and I'm pretty sure he was just like, yeah, so you're going to give a role to my wife, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, there's this Native American sister. And like, well, it's stepsister now. Put her in the show. I think that's what happened.
Oh, they call her Shy because her name is Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Which is actually, technically more Native American than Bobby Six Killer.
But then here's the thing. She's in that first episode, but by the time we get to the second episode, she has divorced Lorenzo Lamas.
To the bottle episode.
Yeah, in like season 4.
Yeah.
They've divorced it. She's not in the episode at
But
all.
she's still in 89 episodes.
Yeah.
She's still,
but she's
Yeah.
getting her episodes cut big time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we've also seen that going back into Lorenzo Lamas's like filmography, she plays the lead opposite him, the romantic lead a lot. Like in several weirdly titled
Lorenzo was just
direct to video. Like, yeah.
He was happy to find someone that makes him look like a good actor.
They're just fucking minting money is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
They found a way that they were just going to mint money and that was going to be how they did it.
Let's talk about Branscombe Richmond for a second.
Okay.
He has such a weird. They do that thing that you do it in a way where you're like, we can be as racist as we want with this character,
yeah.
as long as we make him win the
Yeah.
fight. Like he's smarter than the other guy, so he's also weirdly racist and to himself.
And they call him Featherhat within the first, 2 minutes of
15
screen
minutes.
he
time.
also
It's
tells
just
a
like,
lot of Indian jokes.
yes.
Yeah, he cracks them himself.
And he
Yeah.
also kicks them over to saying Indian instead of Native American or Native or anything else.
Well, you got to remember who the target audience is.
Oh, yes,
It's
you're
guys
right.
that wouldn't say Native American.
You're right. White drunkles.
Yeah.
This entire thing was about white drunkles. But like the idea.
There's got to be an episode of the show where he like meets up with his niece and nephew, and they're like, "You're the best uncle." There's like a whole episode of this for sure. Season 5 or something. They put that in there.
So, and then also the main villain, who we only get to see a little bit of, because he's only in 43 episodes of the show.
Oh, so he still hangs around, the guy who shoots the other cop.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's the creator of the show.
Okay,
he's
got
the
it. Okay.
main villain of the show.
But he also runs the prison? Is that kind of what I gathered?
he's a marshal.
Oh, okay, he's a marshal.
Dutch.
Okay.
And they were casting, and then according to one of them, they were like, he was like, oh, Lorenzo and I were talking. He's like, you should just play the lead villain.
Okay.
No one else is going to be as good as it. for
Lorenzo
you."
Lamas perennially looking for people that are worse actors than him.
Well,
I
right,
love
okay.
any show with Lorenzo Lamas. Everyone has to be a worse actor around him.
And that's hard. That's hard to
Yeah.
find.
That was, yeah, it's tough. And then he goes like full Steven Seagal by episode or by the 4th season.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't-
so actually, that's the problem. Is a lot of they only last for 5 episodes because by the 5th episode they're a better actor than Lorenzo Lamas, despite being completely novice at the beginning. And they get kicked off the show. Literally, Lorenzo Lamas kicks them off. I will give him this. The action stuff, he is really committing to it. It looks good.
Well,
it looks
I
good
mean,
enough.
fine.
I agree with
the
well
action,
enough.
the most exciting action in the show is in the opening credits.
Which just the
There's like him fighting people on a fire escape. There's him shirtless dumping water on himself in the desert.
But you know that they don't have like a full fight coordinator. You know that they're not
It's
paying that
Lorenzo.
kind of money. It's Lorenzo.
just
Yeah.
It's Lorenzo or whatever weird master he has during
Yeah.
the weird, heyday
I almost
in
called him
Hollywood.
Lenny.
if
Yeah.
you're on a nickname basis with
Lenny
him, why not?
Lamas.
Yeah, you're right. He's like 20 years too late from being known as Lenny Lamas because they're like, we can't pronounce Lorenzo.
Oh God. It's wild. I can't even remember the first episode because it was such a blur going into the next one.
So it starts off him on a beach making out with his wife or girlfriend.
Yep.
And that goes on for a while. And I remember, because I've watched the episode twice, I wasn't really sure what it was about.
I'm sure he goes like, we're going to run it again.
Yeah.
We're going to run it again.
So I was really wondering, what is this show for the first 3 minutes? And then it just kind of goes from that straight into the credits of, they killed his wife.
Who was alive.
Yeah.
And then was still alive after the opening and then is dead.
And
or
then-
not even
yeah.
dead because we don't
she's
know.
in a coma.
She's, what do they call her?
She's just not responsive.
Wait, it's like-
Full life support.
They, Full life support, and then they also call it like a human, or like a
Human corpse.
a human centipede, or something. A
living corpse,
a
they
living
called
corpse,
her.
a living corpse.
And
yeah.
even
He's in love with a living corpse.
even in that stage, he's a better actor than Lorenzo Lamas. But then he goes and talks to the cops, and he's like, "Hey, this one cop asked me to kill someone for $2,000. Thought you might want to know." And they're like, "Thanks for telling us." And then they go and tell that cop, and they're like, "Hey, he ratted you. You're gonna have to kill him." So then they go bust Donald Gibb out of prison to be like, "Can you go kill him?"
Because that absolutely makes sense, because that's untraceable.
So then they're like, "Hey, go wait in this motel room for your safety." They've stolen his service weapon. They give it to Donald Gibb. Donald Gibb tries to kill him, accidentally kills his wife.
But we also, there's no reasoning as, oh no, was also Lorenzo in the motel
Yes,
as
he was
well?
in the motel room.
Yeah.
Why?
They were making
Because
out.
they were about to make whoopee.
To doink?
Yes.
But why? I would assume
That's where he was hiding, because
He's hiding
he'd
out
already-
because
they had him there
he had-
as a
he's
witness.
snitched.
All right, so then they now have him double. They have two. Okay, got
And
it. Got
so-
it.
They know
got it,
where
got
he's
it.
at.
So then
Also, pretty cool safe room that lets you bring your girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
it was a pretty low rent motel.
Well, I don't think he's like IA is not hiding him. You know,
Yeah.
it's not an FBI thing. I think it's
No, but there
yeah.
should be like a guard at the door. He's a witness in a crime around a police
I mean,
officer.
It wasn't a real safe room. They bought a cheap motel room and put him there
He
to
was
be
also
murdered.
he was also smart enough to park his motorcycle inside the motel.
Yes, he keeps his motorcycle in the hotel room.
Well, you can't have it outside.
Yeah,
Everybody
it
would
makes sense,
recognize
'cause
his
It's
iconic.
got the flames.
Let the motorcycle watch, baby.
Let the motorcycle watch.
You got his motor running.
That's just a total uncle move, parking the motorcycle in the hotel room.
I love the idea of the motorcycle. It's fully Knight Rider. After a
Yeah.
certain point, the motorcycle gains sentience in the 5th season. Don LaFontaine, it's the motorcycle. Vroom, vroom.
But so then they kill his
In a
girlfriend.
world where I get to play a cool motorcycle,
I would have paid to see that. Yeah.
I'm the coolest uncle. I'm also a motorcycle.
They kill his girlfriend. He goes on the run because he's suspected, and then he chases down Donald Gibb, finds Donald Gibb. At the same time, the cops hire Six Killer to go find him.
Mm-hmm.
Four Killer.
Four Killer at
Four
the
killer
time.
at that point. Mhm.
He finds Donald.
Is that
Gibb.
real or did we make that up?
I remember seeing 4 Killer and 6 Killer on the IMDb. It's a slash, so I think he's 4 Killer
Okay.
originally,
Okay.
and then 6 Killer eventually.
So he goes and finds him. Then Four Killer's like, "I'm taking you in. It's a bounty." And then the motorcycle gang that Donald Gibb belongs to steals him.
What a
back.
sentence.
They steal everyone back,
Mm-hmm.
including Six Killer's sister. And then Reno Reigns helps get them back. So now him and Six Killer are friends. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to let you do bounties for me." Every episode is self-contained. It can be syndicated.
Yeah.
It is weird they said that at the end.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite how the last episode ended.
Yeah, and then the credits rolling like Reno Reigns will return in something. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to follow a plot.
There's nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing about
he'll
it.
be back. Chill.
I really
Just wait until next weekend on PAX. There will be
or
an
wherever we
episode.
accidentally sell it to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always watch like police procedurals growing up. I watched Psych. We talked about that even in between. It was like I watched Psych. I watched Monk.
Yeah, since last time that we...
Yeah.
Now, Bryan and I previously had a podcast called Finding Flavor Town, which we discussed on the last episode. Now, there's been about 2 hours in between recording that podcast and this one. And in that time, we've started a new podcast called Seeking Psych. And we've watched every episode of Psych. And we've
I have to leave now.
We've reviewed every episode of Psych. David is actually,
he actually
leaving the
left.
room. Wait,
He's
is it
gone.
recording, David? Or
He doesn't like Psych.
it's still recording.
He doesn't
as soon as
like
we
Psych.
talked about Psych, he left the room.
Because I also watch like Bones. Or
Bones?
fucking, yeah.
The show Bones, or you just find bones and look at them?
A little of both.
Okay.
A lot of both.
But-
ton of both.
Okay.
But I don't know, because those procedurals are just, it doesn't take thought process. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to it.
Even though they're mysteries.
Like you said, they're all, yes, but they're all like telegraphed so heavily. You know what I mean? There's very, very few good crime shows.
They're all based around like a formula for mystery.
Oh, for sure.
So it's
For
so
sure.
it's like there's like 8 plots. You just recycle the 8 plots. You figure out different ways to kind of tell the same story. Yeah, absolutely. And Renegade is literally it is designed to be like a 60s television show in terms of there's a bad guy this week. We got to go find him. Also, at the end, it'll all be reset back to 0. Nothing will ever change.
It's literally The Fugitive.
It's chips with swords.
He's been framed for the murder of his wife.
Actually, does that hold? I love it. You know, I
God,
love Fugitive.
I always wonder about that. Like, at a certain point, like these dudes have to get a reputation that like women just get murdered around them. It's not even their fault. But like, why do women still hang out with James Bond? The track record is frighteningly
Well, that's not
awful.
how he introduces himself to them.
No, but like,
I mean,
at
it
a
was-
They haven't seen the other movies.
He quite literally cannot stop saying that I'm James Bond. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like, no,
But
but that's what I'm saying. Word has to get around at a certain point that's like,
What
don't hang out with
word?
James
They all
Bond.
die.
Well, yes.
They've never heard of him in universe. He's a secret agent. Secret.
Yeah, but he's not secret about it. He literally constantly introduces, like, he doesn't take like a fake name. He never
but
introduces.
they're not talking about him on Twitter.
But they know who he is usually when they're going to like kill him or seduce him.
Maybe.
Although I guess that's the other thing is a lot of them are trying to murder him.
And then there's also a bunch of reset, you know,
Yeah.
in general, where you get a new Bond who's resetting.
But
off the
also-
You know,
I
Llamas
think-
can still be Bond. It's not off the table.
But
I mean, I'm clumsily getting through and then samurai swording somebody to death.
Yeah.
I would assume, yeah.
yeah, that is how listen, that is how the second episode opens.
Well, yeah, because
But
episode
this
1 is
is-
very boring, but episode 2 is a bit of a doozy.
it's a bit of a DB doozy, a deboozy.
It doesn't open on him swording. That's what's after the opening credits.
Oh, you're right. That is after the opening credits. So the opening credits is a poker game, and with a tiny man with a high pitched voice,
Hey, man, I don't have any money left, but I got something better than money.
a secret.
What was the thing? The DB Cooper thing.
He
That
knows,
what it was?
he
Okay.
knows approximately where DB Cooper is.
His only memory is Oregon, which, yeah, everyone knows where DB Cooper jumped out of a plane. He's like, you can find DB Cooper in Oregon. That was his big secret. and then 6 Killer Hearsay's like, Reno, we're going to Oregon to look for DB Cooper. I've got information that he's in Oregon. Yeah,
Also, I love how they were riding side by side all the way to Oregon.
motorcycle and Hummer.
Oh my god!
That's an Uncle Dream.
Why choose?
It's me on the motorcycle,
Why
my
not get
buddy
back-
in the Hummer.
Like if there was an Uncle Disneyland, the ride would be Hummer motorcycle convoy.
That would be the tram.
Yeah.
You could get on a convoy that's either a bunch of Hummers all together or a bunch of motorcycles in little.
I truly believe the DVD box set of Renegade came with a coupon for chewing tobacco. This is something I believe.
It came with a mustache and a pack of cigarettes.
I want to do Uncle
For
Drunkles.
when you need to go on the run from your kids.
Do you think anyone was inspired to leave their family behind by this show? They were like, life on the road looks pretty good right
Oh,
about
yeah.
now.
I mean, your life would have to be horrid in order for this to be
People that like
appealing.
Renegade,
Yeah,
their life is horrid.
I guess. But were people were watching the show or people weren't watching the show? It was just filler.
I mean, it got 110 episodes.
I
No, but
mean,
that
sure.
didn't get 110 episodes. Oh, that's what the whole point. So it's this weird thing where Stephen J. Cannell realized that if you just made 100 episodes of something, you could just kind of sell it into syndication. You didn't have to make the show first and find out if it has an audience.
At least one person was watching. And sadly, we don't get to see the episodes he has to guest star in. But there are 2 episodes, according to IMDb, that guest star Barry Bonds,
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
which sadly we did not watch.
Because he's a fan of the show.
He's apparently a fan of Renegade
Oh my god.
and asked to be in Renegade. And here's the Barry Bonds.
Are
is
we
the-
sure this is?
It's
We sure
the
he
Barry
asked?
Bonds.
Yeah, I know
It's-
it's the Barry Bonds, but
This is like the Barack
Yeah.
Obama
is it junior or
situation.
senior? Is it his dad?
No. You're thinking of Bobby Bonds.
Okay, that makes sense. That seems like that's a decision made based on steroid use.
No,
Like,
this is pre-steroids. Here's the thing about Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, unquestionably an incredibly talented athlete, one of the best baseball players of all time, even without steroid use. But he's got this weird high-pitched voice, and I think is a little insecure about his masculinity.
So he goes on Renegade.
So he watches Renegade and thinks that's a man's show.
Renegade, the #1 show that plays underneath people's domestic. I don't want to say abuses, but disturbances. I feel like
Yes.
it's just on in the background during
Yeah.
like a very challenging childhood.
And Barry was like,
There you
once I start doing steroids, that'll be me. And he goes in 2 episodes.
Actually, Mark
Does he hit
McGuire's
someone
on
with
4.
a bat?
I don't know. I didn't watch the episodes.
I better.
I looked up a picture of him in Renegade, and he tried to look tough, smiling in front of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he just plays another bounty hunter.
I hope he plays himself.
Barry Bonds, the bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Like when I take a break during off season.
I love the idea though of like having to have like the Native American guy just be like, Barry Bonds. What? I thought we were here to collect a bounty, not home runs. That is the level of writing.
Oh
That
yeah.
is-
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
With what we can see is 4 seasons in, consistent.
I can't figure out like the dorky sidekick character. It's existed the whole time to make bad jokes. And just like, is that just because people can't write good jokes, so they make a character that it's like it's bad, and that's the joke?
Yeah. Well, he's like,
Or I guess they think it's good jokes.
besides chasing that guy down who trips, he trips and then he like tackles him afterwards. We're talking about Six Killer, but
Yeah.
later on in the episode, he has a chance. This is the closing of the 4 season episode, where there are like 4 or 5 grown men
Yes.
who are just watching Renegade fight this dude, even though they could just step in and kind of
Here's why
do
they don't-
their fucking job.
Here's why they don't join in. Those guys were all clearly filmed separately.
Oh yeah.
They're
yeah.
not in shots with anybody. They're just watching from a different forest.
Lorenzo Lamas showed up on a motorcycle, fought that guy, and then left on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And they had to just kind of fill it in and figure out how the show worked.
Yeah,
Well-
he's like, I'm an action star. Just film me for action.
So, but anyway, the plot. So he finds out DB Cooper's in Oregon, and he goes to Reno Reigns, who's in a field just practicing with a sword.
Actively just katanaing.
Yeah, and then he's like, "We gotta go get DB
With the
Cooper."
full ponytail, by the way, like
Oh,
it was very.
yeah.
You
much,
don't
and
use
the,
a sword
and-
without one.
And the gi thing,
Yeah.
I don't exactly know what it, but the traditional flowy pants.
Yeah.
yeah.
So then he's like,
It's like, how do I look cool for this scene? I
Right.
know.
"Let's go get DB Cooper," and they travel to Oregon, which is full of palm trees.
They couldn't see you do the quotes, but
Yeah.
you did the quotes on.
I did the
Oregon.
air quotes
Yeah.
because it's still clearly L.A.
They never left the 30 mile zone.
No,
No, no fucking way. Maybe they went to the farm. Maybe.
but there's palm trees all over.
Yeah.
Hey,
And they're
there's
not
palm
in
trees
they're-
in parts of
they're-
Oregon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in and out parking lots. And that's it. So they first town they show up in, and mind you, they have only heard that DB Cooper is in Oregon. And the first town they go into, they're like, "Hey, is DB Cooper here?" And the one guy's like, "I don't know, maybe." And they're like, "Yeah, he's here." And it's just immediately cop is like, "Get out of here." He cuts the tires of Reno Reigns.
Which
He's
is
like,
where
"There-"
we introduce the love interest here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
all you have to do is
first
say
the-
no.
First, the sheriff is pretty much like, "There ain't no DB Cooper here. You're in the
Oh,
wrong town."
Everybody comes asking about DB Cooper here.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. And it's like, no one brought that up but you.
Yeah. And they introduced the love interest who, look, she's not wearing it now, but let's just say she spends half the episode wearing a shirt that says girl. just
wild.
Just so
It's-
that you know she's a girl.
And cleavage is there. There's up down shots, like they shoot her in full profile a few times.
Yeah,
like
every woman
immediately,
we've
like,
met in the show
Yeah.
is cleavage all the time.
That's actually how they found DB Cooper, is he's just wearing a shirt that says DB Cooper.
Yeah, we're introduced to like 3 guys in this whole episode.
Do we-
Shocker, one of them is DB Cooper.
When did we meet the bartender? That was early
He's
on.
the first person
He's the
you
first
meet.
person we meet. That's
And
how
he-
forgettable the
he's
entire
DB
interaction
Cooper.
is for me.
No, because they're doing it's definitely the kind of thing where the writer is like, ooh, we'll trick him. It's a fake out because we'll introduce him first. So Noah goes, that can't be him. even though also he's out of the 3 people they introduced, he's the one person with actual acting credits.
Yeah.
He's like fully the one person who
Okay.
actually was like a star at the time. Like people would be like, "Oh, I recognize that guy from the other TV show."
Yeah, it was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, yeah, he's super method. He robbed a bunch
hijacked
of
a
people
plane.
and jumped off it. Yeah. In Oregon, that's what he did. And then he made some shoes or a cabin or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck the motherfucker does.
Wow. got
Currently,
him.
Daniel Day-Lewis he's just actually studying for a role about a retired actor.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's gonna come back around in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to figure out. You don't even have a joke for it. I'm gonna skip that one.
No, leave it in. Let the people know you bombed.
I didn't even bomb. I like half attempted.
I think you should leave it in honor of all the filler episodes Renegade had.
This is filler podcasting.
I mean, the show is a filler show.
We did a full cast list, right? So of everything. We didn't see anybody who's like even remotely famous in the next 10 years afterwards.
James Cromwell's in one episode.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For all our Crom heads out there.
For all the
He's in an
cronies.
episode like the same year that Babe came out.
Oh, okay.
Can you
know
imagine the whiplash if you've seen Babe? And then he's in Renegade?
I mean, I have this feeling that you're only going to go see Babe if you actually have like a nice relationship with your children. So I'm really
you go
doubtful.
see Babe because it's the one weekend a month you have your kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then you take them
Trying
home and
to
you're
relate
like,
to
now
your
it's daddy's
kids."
time. We watch Renegade.
Babe won the like special effects for Oscar for special effects, correct?
Probably,
Over Apollo 13. So,
That's because it wasn't an effect. They went to the moon.
well, it wasn't an
effect.
effect to actually fly them up in planes and get them into zero grav
No,
like the actors.
special
yeah.
effects. You mean actual tech?
Yeah, actual. So, okay. So the mouth moving on the Babe pig, that was enough to be.
That also wasn't an effect. They found a talking pig.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No, special effects means magic.
Sorry, Lorenzo Lamas found a talking pig, and on set he showed it to James Cromwell. He's like, I don't really know what to do with this thing. Like, I
He's
found
like-
this pig. It talks. If
And
you
then
want
James
it, it's
Cromwell
yours.
held on to that pig for a while.
Yeah.
Okay,
He
so
showed it to George Miller.
so besides Cromie, do we have anybody else?
Oh,
And
so-
Barry Bonds, I guess.
Well, like
Yeah.
Max Scale was in 170 episodes of Barney Miller. He was like one of the main guys.
Oh, okay.
The guy who plays D.B. Cooper in
Yeah,
this?
the guy who plays D.B. Cooper.
Yeah.
And it's
I
been
think
in a
Bryan
bunch
meant
of
as
things.
the show as a whole.
Oh.
I just meant in general. Like I wanna, I'm interested. You know what I mean?
For
I
a
scrolled-
podcast-
Young Adam Driver, or like a,
No, I
yeah.
think Driver would have been too young.
Yeah, that would be. that
No,
would be a-
90 something, very young.
No, I don't think he started acting until after the military.
Oh,
If
okay.
If I remember Adam Driver's
He didn't do it
origin story
beforehand,
correctly,
right?
yeah.
I
which
feel like
I often do.
I'm realizing a lot of the people now I'm like the same age as, and I'm
Adam,
like,
write
oh,
in. Let us know
fuck.
when you started acting.
Mhm.
We
Oh,
we ask
man.
celebrities to write in all the
Post
time.
the Marines.
I like the idea that they write in. I like that's why we haven't gotten it. And
Oh yeah, we haven't given the. That's the issue.
Yeah,
They
your
need the
address. We need
Okay,
Fuck
Adam,
you.
we live at 420. Sorry for Party Rocket Street, Brooklyn, New York.
Area
Oh my
code
God.
696969, baby.
Please send us a letter, dude.
6. Wow, I like our area code is 6 digits instead of 5. That's really
One of them's a
impressive.
bonus digit for the party. It's a party digit.
They only award it.
Usually a pinky's a party digit, but that's a whole other.
We have gotten sidetracked.
What does
about
that
the
even
plot
mean?
of this
Okay, yeah,
episode.
because it's I don't know. This I
In
don't
butts
know.
or cocaine?
Would I rather watch Renegade or House of Fang? Now is my question.
Oh, no spoilers in case we haven't released the House
If
of Fangs
there's
yet.
120 episodes of House and Fang, I feel like they're gonna go to great lengths and they'll
Yeah.
probably get Babe on and cook him into dumplings. Apparently,
I would love a restaurant that just tells you the name of every animal you're eating. But okay, so they go. They
Is that a right wing or a left wing restaurant?
I don't. It's
Politically.
centrist.
I think both. Yeah, I
centrist.
think a little both.
So
It's a centrist restaurant.
I gotta give back track. So they go to Oregon. They talk to the bartender. The cop talks to them, and then they go around town.
Hey guys, good news.
Look at-
Leah Remini and Jan Michael Vincent were both in one episode.
Really? Okay, yeah.
Jan
Okay.
was already a little established. But
like
so then
immediately.
they go talk to this.
You think Leia was like a hot babe, or
Yeah. And
probably.
one would assume, right?
No woman under the age of 30 or over the age of 30 was allowed
Oh,
in the show.
here's a couple of wild ones. Linda Blair,
Oh, she was
Okay.
known.
Johnny Cash,
That makes total sense.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Honestly,
Makes
there's
me
a
little sad.
there's a
but-
non-zero
Arlo
chance.
Guthrie.
There's
Yeah.
a non-zero
Okay.
chance that Johnny Cash played a Native American. That's something he would totally have tried. Because he made that whole album that's like, I'm Johnny Cash and I really relate to their plight.
Henry
There was like a
Travis.
brief time
I think
where that
we're
was his
okay.
thing.
Oh yeah.
I think we're okay. He just plays Henry Travis.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. That could be absolutely it.
Yeah, considering the main Native
it-
American character is Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is Henry
his-
Travis Wampum.
Yes.
That's my bad.
Okay, there we
No,
are.
I made
did
it up. I made that up,
Oh,
guys.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God damn it.
I love how much so you guys were like, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, that's absolutely because the white lady is named Cheyenne, and she's the step.
Because she clearly
sister.
wasn't written to be white.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was her. Walton Goggins was on an episode.
Seriously?
Ooh, they got
Yeah.
Goggins.
A young Gog. Oh
This
my
would
God.
have been no.
Oh my
That's
Gog.
Oh my
Fuck
God.
you.
That's oh my God. That's post right. Goggins. Okay, never mind.
I mean,
Doesn't
a lot of
matter. I don't
these
need
people
to-
have
it would have been a
pictures.
young Gog.
Yeah, it would have been a young guy.
I'm assuming I also don't know a lot of these people just because I.
Allison Janney. She's here.
She might. I love Allison Janney.
We should probably cut this part out where we're just listing people that were in Renegade.
No, well, I want to know who we think are.
I think we
isn't-
should keep it in as filler.
I absolutely agree.
Just like Renegade.
Just
Yes.
like Renegade. Steven Spielberg.
Danny
plays
Trejo.
Trejo?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. that
Trejo's
was-
in. Okay. That makes more sense. It's probably one of his like first couple of roles right after
No,
he got out of
Runaway
jail.
Train.
Runaway Train. Okay.
Runaway Train's his first role because he met Eric Roberts in prison,
Okay.
and Roberts was like, "You want to be in a movie? I assure you, there's very minimal standards for being in a movie."
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, he did a lot of like consulting, right? That was
I
kind
think
of
he
how
taught
he
Eric Roberts how to box for
Okay.
that movie.
He was doing in like security. Michael Clark Duncan. Anyway, I'll stop naming actors.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the Legend of DB Cooper. They're like
Yeah, so we got to the point where they've gone. Six Killer's gone to talk to that local
a crazy old
the
man.
local kook,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Hey, you ever seen DB Cooper?" And the guy's like, "Maybe if you give me money." And so he starts handing him money, and the guy's like, "I saw DB Cooper. I helped him find the money." Blah 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 blah. And he's like, and then aliens showed up. At which point, Six Killer's like, oh, "This guy's crazy," and he leaves. And when he leaves, a big brawler shows up that overheard the tip about where DB Cooper is, and he beats up the local kook.
He heard it in L.A. and then followed them.
And again, all he heard was he's in Oregon. That's all he heard.
So we're assuming, that this dude also lost more poker games to.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he followed him to Oregon. He beats the shit out of him. It's a pretty rough. That's what I'm talking about. Like that fight scene is a fun fight scene.
That's fine.
It was less of a fight. He was just going to.
It's just him beating up an old man.
Yeah, really.
I like the idea
Once
of you.
again, it was very fun.
I like the idea of you seeing an old man getting beat up on the street and be like, yeah, this is fun.
Well, it's,
I like this.
It's a it's a lot more brutal than I thought it was going to be for this show.
I guess. I've seen way more brutal.
Yeah, but we've also
Yeah.
seen how they don't really connect on punches, or at one point,
That is
Renegade
true. Later,
whips somebody in the face.
Yeah,
with
later
his
in the
hair.
show, he whips him with his hair.
So I think actually really throwing down on that old man is alright, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for vaguely coming to my side, Brian.
And then what else happened? So then the cop thinks Six Killer's the guy that beat him up.
Yep.
He arrests him.
Mm-hmm.
He takes him to the local kook. The kook's like, you got the wrong guy.
Oh yeah, it is such a weird thing where like two very different one Native American dude.
There's three
Ta-
bounty hunters. The Native American, Reno. Oh, you're talking about this specific situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
two specific bounty hunters and one giant like NFL player.
Who's dressed like he's in the Mighty Mighty Boston.
With a flat
Yeah.
top, not a fucking mullet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Like a Street Fighter reject
Yes,
character.
absolutely.
Oh
Like-
no,
I
he
never had to knock out an old man.
full on Streets of Rage.
who's the dude in Street Fighter? Blonde dude.
Ken.
No, not Ken.
Guile?
But the white dude. Is that Guile?
Oh, I'm thinking Lieutenant whatever.
I mean, he's in the Street Fighter movie, played by
Van Damme.
Van Damme. Is he
I
Van
think
Damme in
it's
it? Okay, is it Guile? Anyway, looks generally the same, like almost the exact sprite model, like brought
Yeah.
to life. Is just
oh yeah, that
Yeah.
big with the flat,
just a
big
flat
white
top
hair.
and just yeah.
So
And I'm assuming like a Miami Dolphins Super Bowl. No, they
Yeah.
never won the Super Bowl. The 49ers Super
Also,
Bowl ring or yeah.
Van Damme didn't play him. Van Damme played. He played the other guy. He played Bison.
Okay.
And
no,
Bison.
Raul
No, and
Julia
Bison is
played
Raul
Bison.
Julia.
Oh, wow, that was Raul Julia. You're right. Sorry. Oh my God.
We're gonna do nothing but just drop names this entire time because it's so confusing. It has
No, I'm
turned my
deleting
brain into mush.
I know
like
what
the
happened.
last two episodes.
I know what happened. You guys keep interrupting by
It's
naming
because it
names.
sucks. It's just not. It
So
never
then-
gets good.
So then what happens is that Reno goes to talk to the woman that's fixing his bike, who is the daughter of the guy that owns the bar.
Oh, we're talking about girl.
We're talking about girl with the girl shirt, but she goes there and she's confronted by the guy that just beat up the local kook. He tries to, I think he's going to sexually assault her.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna do bad things to
Yeah.
you,
And then-
unnamed, and you're like, yeah, all right. we
Reno
got
shows
it.
That
up
seems
and
like
beat
a
him.
fully a running
Oh
theme.
no! Before that though, he's gonna blowtorch Reno's
Motorcycle,
the cardinal sin for all uncles. We
Yeah.
all know that. And then she turns off the gas to that, and he goes, "All right, well then, I guess I'll have to punish you instead."
So then Reno beats him up and that guy runs away. And then she just turns to me and is like, hey, thanks. By the way, your bike is fixed. Will you take me for a ride?
Yeah.
They go on a long ride through the mountains. At which point they go back to the bar and they're like, there's this bounty hunter and he's messing up the town. Can you catch him?
Also, really real question. Do you think there's this many bounty hunters in
There's-
90s America at that time?
There's at least one more. His name is Dog.
Yes, I believe bounty hunting is legal in 2 countries. So,
Which is weird that it's the second time we've mentioned that on an episode recorded today.
I mean, it's not that weird. It makes sense. We're
Yeah.
talking about a show about bounty hunting.
What's
No.
the other country?
Indonesia.
I don't actually know if that's true.
That's what you said earlier.
Yes,
And
I said it might be.
this was mentioned during us discussing the show Dreams.
No idea.
Yeah, you weren't there. Anyway, so they get there and like, can you catch this other bounty hunter? And then the bartender's like, in exchange, I'll give you DB Cooper because I'm DB Cooper.
No, well, he figures it out.
Yeah, Reno figures it out just before the guy tells him.
Reno figures it, but then how does girl get captured? Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
of the
that's
whole.
in a
Yes,
minute.
you're right.
Hang
Okay,
on.
sorry. I'm sorry.
This first girl is mad that her dad is DB Cooper, even
Yes.
though that's really cool.
Yeah,
If your dad's DB Cooper, awesome.
absolutely. Fuck the state.
Yeah.
Also, there's the mayor of the town who they
Oh,
thought
yeah.
was DB Cooper,
Oh,
but that's not
yes.
really important.
the mayor
it doesn't
puts
matter.
some manure on Six Killer's shoes. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he walks to the bar later so they can do the thing. Well, you smell like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You Native American bastard or whatever they.
Whatever they say to him. So then they're like, all right, we'll catch this guy. In exchange, you'll turn yourself into us for the bounty. And then that guy calls in a tow by kidnapping a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has her call in the tow. So then the love interest she shows up, she gets kidnapped. And now the guy's like, DB Cooper better hand himself over to me or I'm going to kill her. Instead, Reno says, no, I also have a bounty, so I'll turn myself in. Then they go to that
Bounty
guy.
hunter, hunt thyself.
Yeah. Then they go to that guy, and that guy's like, I'll take both of you as a bounty. A fight ensues. He hits him with his hair.
Hold on, wait. No, it's dumber than that because
Oh, Spartacus,
he has
yeah.
girl, as known by her shirt.
Yeah.
Mhm. Shirt's back, by the way. Shirt left for a second. Shirt's back again.
Shirt's
Yeah.
back. So he has a gun to her head and then a gun out towards everybody else. And then he eventually the mayor and the other guys are all there, and DB Cooper's like, "Hey, I'm DB Cooper. You can just take me." And then the other guy's like, "No, I'm DB Cooper. No, I'm DB." And they do a full Spartacus over DB Cooper.
And they're all in different locations when it's filmed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's clearly like they had to figure out how they were going to end that in editing.
Yeah.
And so he's pointing his gun at too many DB Coopers. So the girl's able to hit him and
Yeah.
escape, and then that leaves him open to a Lorenzo Lamas attack.
Oh, two kicks. Two
Yeah.
really big swinging kicks back to back. Meanwhile, yes, like I
yeah.
said, all these other grown men are just kind of watching Llamas, even though, like,
There were
It
three
is-
other grown men watching llamas on
Sure.
a couch in Queens.
for sure. But then there's another. We're talking about also six killer is also there, just standing, and his
He
job
can't-
is bounty hunter. Just
can't-
walk over there, man.
He can't. He threw his gun on the ground a foot in front of him.
Oh yeah, you're right. And
can't do anything.
we watched him unless you trip in front of him and he can
Yeah.
tackle you. He's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fight definitely would have been easier 4-on-1.
So at that point, they arrest the other bounty hunter, and then they do a thing where they're like, "All right, DB Cooper, say goodbye to everybody. We're taking you in." They take him out of town and like,
Also,
Jake-
wait. Before they take him in, though, his daughter forgives him.
yes,
And he makes sure he's like, listen, I'm going to go to jail. But before I do, you got to promise me one thing. And that's to never marry Reno Reigns. And she's like, why would you say that? And he's like, because you always do the opposite of what I tell you to do.
crowd goes wild.
Crowd goes wild. I wanted them to be together.
Yeah.
Even though Roman Reigns was lying to her the entire time because he was calling himself Jakey Black or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
he came in with a fake name,
Hi, I'm
admonished somebody
Kentucky Vega.
for lying to somebody else, yeah, and then is like, oh no, well, it's all
So
good now.
they bring him out of town, and they're like, just kidding. Your the statute of limitations is like 20. It ends in like 6 months. Or
Yeah, we just wanted to be able to say we caught DB Cooper.
Which you didn't have to take him out of town to do.
No.
You
Yeah.
literally could have just told him in front of everybody else.
Yes, they drive him like 5 miles out of town, and then like, anyway, see ya. You can walk back to town.
They should have had him handcuffed and blindfolded, walking to the edge of a canyon.
I love the idea of he just fucking Lamas just motorcycles back quickly to try and go fuck his daughter immediately.
I would assume they probably,
Oh, yeah, the guy was
let
cool with
the
it.
motorcycle watch.
Yeah, that guy was totally cool with it. He keeps talking about it being like, hey, get intimate with my
Yeah,
daughter
please.
now.
Well, yeah, because look, it wasn't so much that he was wanting it to happen. It's just that the bosses at USA needed it to happen because someone needs to carry the Llamas clones for the future of the network. They needed to get James Roday made quickly.
We need to have a mid-level cop procedural with a dorky twist.
So that was the big encouragement. And then
yeah.
it ends.
Oh, no, it ends with him being like, and don't forget, you got to fucking marry my fucking daughter.
And then he's like, there's 3 more seasons. I don't know about that, pal.
I will have her carry one of the clones.
Is that what he does? In fact, you know what? I bet the entire show is a cover for him just impregnating women with clones of himself, I guess,
Yeah.
technically, right?
There's definitely love interest every single
Yeah.
episode. He definitely falls in love every episode. We didn't watch every episode.
Now it
but
begs the question is, how many James Rodays are there? Do you think they
do you
have...
think he's doing the same thing?
There's
He's
just
going
one.
around.
I
The
feel
Yeah.
like it's like Star Wars Stormtrooper shit where they only live for 20 days and then they turn into goop or something, you know what I mean?
Wow, you just have to keep making Rodays
And they
all
just
day?
didn't expect Psych to run for 7 seasons in a movie.
several movies.
Several movies
They
now. at
keep
this
making
point.
movies for Peacock.
I know. They just keep fucking doing it.
And I'm speaking to the producers right now. You better make a Renegade parody for one of these Psych movies.
I think they're already... We've already got one in Nick Kroll.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that until you
I
told
didn't
us
even...
about it.
Yeah, I've now seen that.
No one realized it was until...
I didn't... Yeah, I
Thank
didn't
God
put 2 and 2
we
together,
got
but
there.
it took me 12 seconds in the show. I was like, oh, okay, got it. I know exactly where this came from.
Okay, so we're at the end of the episode. So what would you do to improve it? And then a show you'd recommend?
Oh, what would I do to make Renegade better?
Yeah.
Probably hire better actors.
Just immediately, just get an acting
Like, this
coach.
is clearly a low budget thing that you can make work if you decide to get it on an actual network
And
rather
maybe
than syndicate it yourself.
get a writer, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Don't just have the one guy. who
Go
sucked the whole
after
time.
a
Yeah.
little bit more than the uncle audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess though this is
Or make it as exciting as the opening credits.
yeah.
Because the opening credits are great, and then the rest of the show.
I mean, that's where all the budget went.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing. I mean, it technically is gorgeously shot.
Like technically, a show like Banshee is is an uncle show.
That's a better version of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
This needs more Amish sexual deviance. That's what this show needs.
If you don't get that, you should. That's my show. I'm gonna skip the order and just say you should watch Banshee. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the show did methamphetamines, and I mean that as a good thing.
Besides the fact that this show definitely did methamphetamines, I think
Yeah.
it's
No,
important.
this show
No, this
wants you to
show's-
believe it does methamphetamines.
This show
but it just
sells
chews,
methamphetamines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just chews tobacco. But yeah, no, definitely watch Banshee. It's a crazy show. There are at one point, I think, 5 mafias involved in that show.
Oh shit! Okay.
One
All
of
right.
which is Amish.
Amish, ex-Amish, Russian.
Shit.
There's Native American, and then there's like one other one that's like a different like secret sub-government, like it might not be government, but it's another. There's like 5 at one point. It's insane. Anyway, watch Banshee. Okay.
What would you do to make the show better?
How would I make the show better? What I would do, yeah, honestly, it has all the bones of like a regular procedural, because that's the thing is it's truly designed to be mediocre. That's like its perfect version of it is like I am enjoying the corniness of it. Honestly, yeah, just go to 11. I mean, which they may have. We've only seen they did find DB Cooper. And
in the
it was,
most boring way possible. I was so excited when we saw the premise of the episode.
Oh, I did
Because
also.
I love Cooper stories.
Have him fucking run. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or you know what I mean? Like
Be-
like a chase scene for reals where our man loses him. You know
like
what I mean?
have him
Or- yeah.
actually be outsmart Lorenzo
Yeah,
Lamas a couple
'cause-
times.
By all intents and purposes, that's a criminal mastermind.
Exactly. But also, I do like that they sell it. They're like, actually, he's not a bad guy. He didn't actually use a bomb.
Yeah.
It was just like a couple wire pieces and whatever.
I think the
and
real D.B.
scared him.
Cooper didn't use a bomb.
I thought that was the whole thing.
I
We
thought
never
I think he
explained
had a
what-
gun.
I think they said he had a bomb, but afterwards they're like, oh, it was fake.
Yeah.
They don't really explain.
We never explained who D.B. Cooper was for anyone listening that doesn't know who D.B. Cooper is. D.B. Cooper hijacked a plane in the 70s, demanded some money, and jumped out with a parachute, was never found. The money was never found. But it actually leads to a very fun line in the episode where Six Kid is like, man, we got to catch D.B. Cooper. Now when I go to the airport, I got to take off my belt buckle. And it's like, oh, buddy.
I gotta take off my belt buckle and my shoes or something like
Wait
that.
4
Like,
years.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't shoes yet. It was just metal.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just metal. Jesus.
Because that's when they were like, I guess we should search people for guns.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, what would you do to improve the episode?
You know, I would. The majority of bail skippers they're not murderers. You know what I mean? They're people who are trying to avoid the prison complex. So maybe do a little more gray area. Maybe have our main
So-
character like think a little bit more about.
I don't know.
What's
You-
going
You want to
on?
make the show woke? You
Yeah.
want to make woke?
I don't even want it
Renegade?
woke. I just want him to just maybe a little bit of.
You're trying to get the uncles woke.
I think I want the uncles a little. I don't even think I want it woke. I think I want him catching the people who are down for like petty larceny that have stolen like a $20 pair of shoes
Yeah.
that just skip bail.
Fucking woke. Next thing, you want to make the sidekick Native American or some bullshit.
Renegade should be Native American.
Renegade
Reno.
should yes,
Reno
Reno
should
should
be
be
Native
absolutely. Yeah, I don't.
Reno in quotes Renegade.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any good way to make that better.
No, I think they made the exact show they wanted to make.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That I think is the problem with it. Is like, yeah, I'm trying to think of how to improve it, and the
You
problem
just
is
have
it's
to
like,
get lucky and get like an actor that's going to blow up in a few years.
Yeah.
like how Jennifer Lawrence was on the Bill Engvall show.
Yes. You have to just get lucky and find Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
You have to get Brad Pitt
But
at
there's
an open
also
casting
so
session.
much movement around where they have to be that you don't have a chance to like sit with
Actually,
anybody. But if
you know
you
what?
sat with anybody, you'd realize
No,
how much
that's
worse
it.
they are.
That's hold on, never mind.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's exactly how you improve the show. Is you don't cast the guy who created it as the main villain.
Yeah.
You get a Walton Goggins early on as a character actor role.
Well,
And-
no, because that guy's supposed to be older.
Okay, sure.
You need a guy that's like 45, 50.
But you
in that role.
get an older guy who's like down on his fucking, and then like, then they get to have like a small little renaissance on this, or get to have a sad
So this comes out
alcoholism
in
on this.
92.
Yeah.
In like 91, Silence of the Lambs comes out, and Hopkins' career was in like a real bad spot. He wasn't getting any offers.
Uh-huh.
Theoretically, if these were filmed at like the same time, they could have gotten Anthony Hopkins when he was agreeing to anything. In theory, there's a different universe where Anthony Hopkins is the
Okay,
villain
you know
of
what?
Renegade.
I think we should all just steal that answer and say how would make the show better. We'd cast Anthony Hopkins as the main
Yeah.
villain.
Hopkins immediately, and then maybe have like a
Honestly, have
a
Anthony
season run
Hopkins
where he-
as Lorenzo Lamas.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe have him.
No, if you can find young Brad Pitt, because he's like, instead of Thelma and Louise, he does this. You can, if you have a crystal ball, cast the right cast for this.
yeah.
Is Brad Pitt playing the Native American guy?
Yes.
Okay. That's
Oh,
what I
absolutely,
thought.
1000%.
He's an incredible character actor,
1000%.
and it's the 90s. They would have done it.
No, he would be Reno Reigns.
Well, no, you have to
Obviously,
have a guy
He's
with
only
star
good
power.
when he does like comedy. Everything else is just kind of blasé with him. I don't know.
Brad Pitt, he's
Yeah.
better as a character actor.
He would have been better
For sure.
than Lorenzo Lamas in this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I would
Okay.
have been.
Boss, recommend a show.
Recommend a show that is like this, that involves
No, it could be just anything, a good show that you like.
a good show that I like.
Something they should watch instead of this garbage.
Read a book and watch Dynasty of Fang. No,
House
what the
of Fang.
fuck? House of
Chef
Fang.
Dynasty.
Chef Dynasty. Watch the first season of The Tick on Amazon. I feel like it's probably
That's a
all
fun
right.
show. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, and Crow.
Like around 2004 or so, ESPN did like a documentary where they followed Barry Bonds around day to day.
Stop right in the
I'm into that. Watch a fucking 40 for 40.
I don't remember it being very
30
good.
for 30.
30
I
for
remember,
30.
I remember
whatever it is,
mostly
yeah.
just be Barry Bonds going around and be like, why are people mean to me?
You know, a question we've all had to ask ourselves, Barry.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, fuck both of those recommendations. Just watch Banshee.
Just watch Banshee.